This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Well, speaking of Riddle, what's some advice or a piece of wisdom that you try to share with the young talent? What's the most important thing that newer young talent needs to learn?
You know, there's a lot of little things, and I think it depends on the situation. It depends on who I'm talking to. But just the other day, there was an instance, and I'm not going to name names, but there was a couple guys that have been on TV that haven't been on TV lately that are kind of, bitter's the wrong word, but, you know, they feel like they weren't given the opportunity that they should have been given. And a lot of times I think when guys feel that way, they're probably right in those feelings. There's just so much going on and so much talent, and 3 hours seems like a long time for Raw, but you got a lot of talent and a lot of stories you're trying to tell. So there's not time for everybody. Right. But these two guys, they basically had all these unanswered questions that they needed answered. And I talked to them because I've seen it. I've lived it. I was one of those guys where you kind of get in your head and you're back in the locker room and you're, you know, bitching and you're talking and you're thinking and you're talking yourself crazy, where all you need to do is go knock on Vince's door, poke your head in, and slowly but surely develop a relationship with him. And maybe for a month, each Monday, you knock on the door, you stick your head in and you say, "Hey boss, just wanted to say hi. Let's have a good show." "All right, cool. Good to see you." "Yes, sir." "Talk to you later." Do that every week. Right. And then, you know, maybe one week, tap, tap, "Hey Vince." And he's going to say, "Hey, come in here for a second." Right. And then you're going to have that little back. It's like this. You want to develop steady build relationship. Up. You steady build up. And it took me 2 decades to get to where I am now with him. And so you got to start now. Don't wait. Don't feel like the business is against you and the writers are in the room having the meeting, talking and figuring out how to bury you, because they're not. But if you want to be at the front of everybody's brain when it comes to what are we doing tonight? Who are we going to use? We need a guy for this guy to get a win on. Who gets that TV time? You can't be out of sight, because then you're out of mind. We've all heard that. Like, you got to develop that relationship so that you can go and ask those questions that nobody can answer. You can ask me, "What do you think Vince wants me to do tonight in that ring?" I can give you a pretty educated guess and maybe come within the ballpark. But if you go knock on that man's door, you're going to go to bed every night. Exactly. And you can sleep easy and then stop making yourself nuts. I'd say that would be, in the WWE, the number one thing I would tell any guys coming up to the main roster.
Awesome.
Talking about behind the scenes stuff, you mentioned earlier Johnny Ace and his Crusher. He's back in talent relations, and Bruce Pritchard's back. Are you surprised to see what's old again is new again? Some of these guys coming back.
I'm not. Mark Carrano was kind of our go-to guy for the last probably decade, I guess, since Johnny stepped down, and Mark did a great job. But I always had a special relationship with Laurinaitis. So seeing Johnny back in that role, I'm very happy with that. I mean, I guess Johnny's the kind of guy, you love him or you hate him, maybe, depending on your past experiences. But like, it's not a personal thing with Johnny. Johnny's all business. Yeah. So as long as you understand that, you know, if you dislike this guy because he gave you an honest answer to a question that you had, like, you need to check yourself, because he's one of the few that you can get an honest answer from. That man has shot me straight since day one. If I was in trouble, or if I knew that I had to shape up or ship out, or if I knew I was treading on, thin ice, he would tell me. He wouldn't beat around the bush and have me second guessing myself or give me some kind of misleading information as a rib. And Bruce Pritchard, he's right there with him. Bruce, I remember I hated Bruce. God, I hated Bruce Pritchard. Bruce, and this won't make this podcast, but just in case that it will. Oh no. So needless to say, I hated Bruce.
Right.
Yeah.
But Bruce is also the guy that called my dad back in '99 and said, "Hey, Bob, guess what? We're going to sign your son. He's a good-looking big kid, and I think we can mold him into what we need to make him a WWE wrestler." You know, like Bruce has been there through a lot of the moments in my career that are memorable. So I have history with everybody, especially guys from way back when. And me and Bruce were just laughing about this, joking about this story the other day. Love Bruce, love Johnny. I love that they're back in the roles that they're in. It brings a little bit of a sense of old school back, which I like, because those guys came up in it before me. They are old school. And I think it's important for the other guys in the locker room to see, like, this is how it used to work, and how it used to work, not in every facet, but in this way, this was a good thing. A little bit of kayfabe, a little bit of mystique, a little bit of, you know what, need to know basis. You know what I mean? We don't need to put all this out on the internet for you to see. Like, I like the relationships that I have with Bruce and Johnny, and I implore everybody in the locker room to have those relationships with those men as well, including Vince.
That's a great idea, Randy. It's good that you tell them that.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.